Venezuela is reportedly mobilizing its military in response to the recent buildup of U.S. naval assets near Latin America that now includes the USS Gerald R aircraft carrier, which has now been on the move. I want to bring in CBS News senior national security correspondent Charlie D'Agata to talk more about this. All right, so break it down for us, Charlie. What's the latest out of the region?
Vlad, there's a lot to talk about. So you mentioned the Ford. The Ford has crossed over from what the military calls EUCOM, or European Command, into SOUTHCOM, Southern Command. Now, that is the region that is now under the control of, it's probably the hottest, militarily speaking, the hottest region on the planet for military forces, because that is where U.S. forces have been engaged. It's kind of kinetic, as they say, strikes on suspected drug boats, and this armada that's headed to that region to join what's already there. So the Ford crossed, as we know from Navy officials yesterday, crossed into EUCOM. It may take a little bit more time to actually get to the Caribbean or the Caribbean. Off the coast, however, it had a couple of escort ships that had been seen, unconfirmed reports anyway, had been seen, destroyers like the USS Bainbridge. That's off the coast of Puerto Rico. So we are certainly looking at a window of, a couple days or hours before the Ford arrives. It's actually the fastest ship in the fleet anyway. It is the most advanced. It's got 4 squadrons of F-18 fighters. It's got another squadron of F-18 jammers, surveillance aircraft, and it joins 6 or 7 battleships that are already in that region. I hesitate slightly because there has been some rotation, but including the Iwo Jima, which is an amphibious assault ship, 2,500 Marines on there, just thousands of troops now. By the weekend, we might be looking at about 14,000, 15,000 U.S. forces in that region, Southern Command, which includes the areas around Venezuela, as we just discussed, the Caribbean Sea, and also the Eastern Pacific around Colombia. That's all part of that, what the military calls the area of responsibility.
All right, so in the past few days, Charlie, we've heard intelligence sharing has been impacted by these narco strikes. Explain that to me.
Yeah, well, the Colombians have made it official. They say that they are no longer going to provide the United States with intelligence. And that is key, because the Colombians had been working with intelligence agencies in the United States, particularly when it comes to drug enforcement, and identifying those boats that you're seeing on screen to try to figure out who's on those boats, what's on it, where did they come from. Remember, this is happening in 2 places, off the coast of Colombia, the Eastern Pacific, and then in Venezuela as well. So it is key that the United States will be losing that element of the intelligence. The Colombians say they're going to stop providing that intelligence until the United States stops ordering these boat strikes. So there's another wrinkle to this where the Brits have stopped their intelligence too. I've spoken to people at DOD and the Pentagon. They said it's not really that important. We don't rely on the Brits for that much intelligence in that region.
All right, really interesting stuff happening out there. Charlie, thank you very much, my friend. Appreciate it.